Hey YouTube, how's it going? Nerdy Narwhal here, and I'm back again today with another 6-scale action figure review. After taking a look at the Damtoys Master Assassin Ezio last time, I wanted to come in and have a look at my favorite assassin and my favorite figure that Damtoys has released from this line so far. Their Damtoys Edward Kenway from Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. So without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, he comes with all the hands that these figures usually come with that I've shown in all my videos. Open hands, fisted hands, trigger hands, sword gripping hands, but I choose to exclusively use these ones, and that is because they are shaped just so perfectly to be able to hold a sword, and because of the individually sculpted fingers, they're all loose in between there, he can hold a gun with them as well, and he does it exceptionally well. So, I choose to just keep those in right out of the box. Now, getting into accessories, he comes with a couple of different guns. First of all, we have this smaller pistol, which looks pretty good. This is definitely his plainest pistol, and that one gets slotted in right up there. Next, we have a longer pistol with a little more of a design on the top there. Same as the smaller pistol on the bottom here, but looks pretty good. So this one gets slotted in right there. Then we have his most ornate pistol. This is the same as the longer pistol right here on the top, but on the bottom you get this little, I always said it was a wolf's head, but now that I'm looking at it a bit closer, I'm not sure if that's true. Maybe it's a dragon or something? I'm not sure. Cool, ornate little pistols though, and these ones I slot back here, and you can see there's one on the other side. So 4 pistols in total on this guy. Now, let's move that up a little tiny bit. There we go. We also have 2 swords. First, his most plain sword is going to be this typical buccaneer basket-hilted cutlass or saber thing. I'm not entirely sure what kind of a sword it is. It's really broad. It looks really cool with a very slight curve going through it. And you can see that it's for his left hand because that basket hilt is on the left hand. So that is going to protect right there when it gets into his hand. Looks really good. I love that pattern. This is a nice soft plastic right there too. So it helps. You don't have to worry about that breaking as much. The swords themselves are a more brittle plastic, but that's okay. Damtoys doesn't need to give us die-cast swords all the time, and in fact, even though I have a lot of figures with die-cast swords, that's never been a make-it-or-break-it thing. For me, just as long as the swords look good. That sword looks pretty good, it's pretty cool, so I'm happy with it. Finally, we have this, which is way more of an assassin's motifed sword. Nice curvature going through the whole thing again down to the hilt. The wraps look pretty good, and maybe I'll set that down for a sec. We'll go in for a close-up so that you can get a look at the eagle and the angel motif thing that it has running through in that little tiny design. And it comes all the way up, widens, curves at the top. This is the sword that goes into his right hand, and I'm not sure if either of these swords are really featured in the game. Can't remember. For certain, though, they're never featured on his person in this combination. This may have been based on some sort of promotional art or something like that, because in the game you always dual wield the same exact sword in your right hand and your left hand. And he has 2 different ones, which I really like in this figure because it really sort of completes his piratey sort of motif that we have going through. So coming up to the top, let's start going into Edward Kenway's outfit. First of all, his little coat thing is completely removable. I have it on there right now because I think it looks cool and goes well with his outfit, but I will take it off. But if I come around here, there we go. You can see that this is actually held on right there, attaches to a magnet in his shoulder. And I've had a couple of these guys. The first one I had, the magnet was completely bunk and useless. So I figured that I would string this belt through this little gap at the top of it right there to sort of help secure that cape to his back. Now, the magnet on this one works just fine, and that belt is not needed in any way to hold the coat to the figure itself. But I was replaying the game yesterday, actually, and realized that it is screen accurate for the game to have that belt, his gun belt, go through and over the top of that cape. So I strung it through there. Anyways, it looks good. So that's how I like to do it. Also, just to my eye, having the cape floating there with no visible way to hold it on doesn't quite look right on the shelf, even though it's based on a video game and swords often just float on the sides or whatnot. I wanted to have something holding it there. So that's what I did. Let's get a look at his assassin hood. This is by far the easiest assassin hood that we've had to pose up from Damtoys. And I remember when this guy came out, folks were complaining about this one, and yeah, it's still not perfect, but it's much less of an assassin's hood. See, we don't really have that pointy thing sticking down, which might help make it easy, but I feel like engineering also does. For this thing, all I do is I come through here and I'll pull it at the bottom, and I'll pull it at the bottom here, and then I'll mush it down, and then it looks free-flowing. You can get away with a lot more with this guy's hood, because remember, he's also on a pirate ship throughout most of the game in the Caribbean. And because of that, the wind is constantly blowing it, making it look all wonky, so you have a lot of leeway with this guy's hood. Now, let's take off his overcoat. And yeah, if you don't wedge these guns in super tightly, they are prone to slipping. So I'm going to undo that. You can see I'm going to have to get two hands on it. One sec now. You can see that it's held there via some Velcro and slides into that little pirate emblem. Let's pull it off. Okay. And I also have the cape going through this second loop here. It's okay, I won't take it all the way off. I just want to show you guys more of his outfit without things being hindered. So let's go in close here. The hood is connected to the outfit underneath by that little cord there. So that's what keeps that hood from just being a loose standalone piece. Thank goodness they thought of that, because that would have sucked. He has these leathered looking pauldrons, completely useless, but whatever. And those are just held on by a little strap there, which is good because it doesn't hinder the figure's articulation really at all, which is something we will get into in the articulation. His soft goods here are awesome. The stitching comes into this little leather guard and then into a very frilly lace sort of cuff piece there, which goes underneath his gauntlets, his assassin's gauntlets. The top layer here, you have your shoulder armor, which is where that magnet is housed, and that's connected to this leather oh, what are these even called? I don't know what all these stuff are called. It's a pirate outfit. This leather vest thing, which doesn't tighten all the way across his body. Over the top of that is his more standard colonial assassin's outfit, which comes down. Over here you have all of his belts, all of his straps to hold his sword, and to just look cool, the red sash, and finally moving all the way down into the pants and the boots. Now, these pants, I have had the issue before of when you pose him a little too egregiously, these pants are cut not quite as low as the rest of the leg. So they do have a tendency to want to hike up. It's an easy fix with this figure though. And it hasn't actually popped out yet. So that's quite nice. You just have to pop the foot off, readjust those pants, twist that boot cuff or the boot cut right here back on, pop the shoe back in, and you're good to go. You will also notice that as this figure was based on some sort of promotional materials, his boots, the opening is on the inside, whereas if you go back and you play the game, the opening is on the outside. That's really not a hard fix either. Let me take the figure out real quick so I can get it right in front of my face. I'm going to pop the shoes off on either foot. Okay. And just slide those over to the other side. It works very well. It's quite easy to do. There we go. And now, Edward Kenway's boot cut openings are on the outside, like you see more in the game, like that. So it's a matter of preference, really. It doesn't bother me the way that it actually came in from Damtoys, because once again, this figure is based on more promotional type materials. So, yeah, doesn't bug me really at all. Let me just get this thing here. There we go. So that you can see sort of how I secure that coat in case you do get one in your collection that is kind of a pain in the butt in terms of those magnets. So I'm going to twist this around here, slide all those swords out. You can see that the first thing that I do is I take this cape and I slide it through his thinner belt strap in the back there, and that holds it firmly to his back. And then, coming in from the back here, maybe I adjust my lighting here real quick so that you can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take this part from the front and slide it through this top opening here. Now there is Velcro on one side of this, so do be aware of that. Actually, do I slide it through there? I think I slide it through here. You can fiddle around with it until you get it to be just how you like it, but I think I opted for that one. Okay, that comes through there. And then over the top and underneath, and that's going to hold it firmly around that right shoulder. Where that right shoulder goes, the rest will follow. Nope, I did do that upside down. Bear with me, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to slide it through here this time. Let's see how that looks. No. There. Slide it right through there. Okay. There we go. And that's going to hold it firmly to his right shoulder. And I take this, push that firmly through the opening underneath the skull emblem, like so. Slide that to the proper spot in his shoulder and buckle it up. Now this does have a wire moving through the top, like that. And so I'll just go like that. And I'll come up underneath here, pinch that hood down, mat it the right way to pull everything nice and tight. Adjust it a little bit more. And there we go. We have Edward Kenway's weird raincoat cloak thing on. And looking spiffy. Okay, let's get into articulation real quick. Like I said, this guy's hands are soft and they are made to hold absolutely every single one of his accessories. That's why I never change these hands out. It's just too easy to do it this way. The head is on a great ball joint. Mush it down, mush it left. He can look up. When you're done moving the head, it's an easy fix. Just give the hood a little pull or a push. Make sure everything's underneath where it needs to go. And then mat it down. And that hood is sitting just fine. The shoulders come out to about 90 degrees. It's your standard Damtoys body. They come up. Double joint in the elbows. He can go all the way across his body with that blade if you want him to. And then pretty standard 6-scale wrist joints, which allow you all the range of motion you can possibly want. Now in the torso, his outfit does have a lot of layers, and it is rather tight, but you can still get a decent ab crunch there, and a great one going back, right? If you really wanted him looking up at the mass, coming into his hips. The legs are only hindered by the pants. You can go here until you start to really tug those britches down. Double joint in the knees. And then standard double ball joint at the foot. So I'm going to get you a couple of quick poses here. First, I'll show you sort of a standard what he looks like in my collection. I always end up going for the sword poses with this guy, and rarely ever change it, but something, you know, here, stocking, arms sort of splayed out to the side, maybe one sword drawn across his person. There we go, something kind of like that. That's how this guy looks 90% of the time in my collection. Just something moving, something fluid. I might mess around with the wires in here to get it look like he's snapping to the side, or the wires in the cloak to add to that a little bit more. But nothing too crazy. Alternatively, though, you can go for a double gun holding pose or a single gun holding pose. In fact, let's get those guns back on his person. There we go. Give him the little gun here. And this is what I like about the whole pirate mythos and the character of Edward Kenway, who is just such a standard smarmy pirate. You might be losing a sword fight in this game, but it doesn't matter, because Edward Kenway would just take out that gun, his little flintlock, and blow them away. And you've got that pose right there too. And it works just wonderfully. Okay, YouTube, that's about all I've got for this figure. In closing, this guy is long since sold out. But if you can hunt one down for about, I don't know, $350 or so, I think is still a fair price to pay for him, then hop on it. He's not getting any cheaper anytime soon. And he is just an awesome figure. Like I said, my favorite Assassin's game, and my favorite figure that Damtoys has released so far. I'm a sucker for the time period, even though Ezio is more of a medieval sort of time period type game. This figure just works better than that. The hood is so much easier. The whole outfit just moves with him a lot better. Nothing's falling off when I try to pose him up or get some shots. So, yeah. I'm a huge fan of this guy. Edward Kenway is awesome. And Damtoys absolutely killed it. I know that you can say what you want to say about the head sculpt. It's not great. It doesn't look exactly like the Edward Kenway that I'm playing through this game in right now. But yeah, that's why I leave that hood on. And it doesn't really bother me none. All right, that's all I got. Stay happy, stay healthy, and keep on collecting. Nerdy Narwhal out.